Today's daf is a new Masechta Sota Daf Beis, Perek HaMekane. So, just to give a little akdama, the pasuk says in Bamidbar Perek Hey pasuk Yud Beis through pasuk Tezvav. The pasuk says Ish ki sista ishtoi umalei ba'amal v'nelam me'ene isha v'nistra v'hinitma v'edein ba v'hilan espasa v'arba alav ruach kina v'kines ishtoi v'hinitma avar alav ruach kina v'kines ishtoi v'hiloi nitma v'hevia ishas ishtoi l'akayin. So basically, the mitzvah is that a baal that's choshid, that his wife was mezana with another person, she committed adultery, and he warned her that she should not be miyachad with that person, and she was over on his asra, and she was miyachad with that person in a shiur that was royal libya. So halacha is that she's mechuyeves to be boidek al yidei the mayim hamarim in the Beis Hamikdash, and until she does that, she's also to her husband minat Torah, because the suffix maybe she was mezana, we don't know. So such an isha is called a saita, and this is what the first parak on the Masechta are going to talk about. It's going to talk about the dinim of kinui and stira, this that the husband is asra, and then the yichud, and this you have to bring it to the kohen, and her karbanis, and the shvus she has to make, and the klalis, and the shkas hamayim. So this parak we're going to discuss the dinim of the kinui and stira, how and in which oifin, if he warns his wife, he does a kinui, is she mechuyeves if she is miyachad with that person, and how she chayav mashkas mayim, and also it's gonna the parak is gonna discuss the dinim of when he brings her to the kohen. So the Mishnah over here is going to discuss in front of how many people does a kinui, the hasra, have to be, and which lashon, what does it have to say? Does the baal have to be edim? Does the baal have to bring edim that she was nistara? And what's the din with a woman that's nistara after kinui? So Zok the Mishnah, mekana le'ishtay. If he warns his wife that she should not be misyachad with Pliny, because it's choshid that his wife was mezana with him. So Rabbi Lezer says mekana la'al pishnayim. He has to warn her in front of two edim, because without edim, he's not neman b'chlal to say that he warned her, and he cannot make her drink mesaita. And another reason is that if he's mekana without edim, it's not a kinui, and even if she is, we know for a fact that she was miyach with him afterwards, she did not become asar on the husband. So good. So Belezer says mekana al pishnayim umashka, and he can be mashka al pi echad. He can mashka his wife mesaita al pi echad. So hashkas mesaita zok Belezer can be even if just eid echad says his wife was miyachah playing, oy al pi atzma, even I'll pay the Baal Asma if he says that he saw his wife was Nistar. That's what Rabbi Lezer says. Rabbi Shua says, Mekanal al Pishtayim, the king has to be al Pitu Edim, the Mashke al Pishtayim, and the Hashkas Meisaita to say that she was Nistar also has to be al Pishnei Edim. However, if you don't have two Edim that she was Nistar, then she does not become Asr to husband, and he does not have to be Mashke her. Zokt the Mishnah Vayter, Keitzan Mekanalai, what is a nusach that he has to use when he's Mekana his wife? Omer Lo, he says B'fnei Shnam, al Tadari Mishplain, you do not speak to this person. And if she's over on his asra, v'dibra ima, and she speaks to him, Adayin hi mutaris labesa, she's still mutar to husband. And also if her husband is a kohen, still she's v'mutaris lecha b'truma, she's still mutar to eat truma. However, Zok the Mishnah, nichnas im lebeis haseisa, if she goes into a hidden place, v'shasa imay kadei toma, and she waits in there enough time as man royal lebia, then she's asur lebeis, she's become asur to her husband. Asur lecha b'truma, she does not, if a husband's a kohen, then she's asur the truma until she drinks the mace saita, then mace, and if a husband dies without kids before she is mashka mace saita, and then choletzes, v'lei misabemes, then she is choletz to his brother, however she is not allowed to be miyabim to his brother. Zok the Gemara. So now the Gemara is going to discuss the Seder Masechtas. Why Saita comes after Nazir. Zok Gemara. Michti. Let's see. Tana min Nazir Salik. We just finished learning about Masechtas Nazir. Man Tana. What's the Indian that's Daima Saita to Nazir? The Katana Saita that we say Saita. That we say Masechtas Saita now after Nazir. Zok the Gemara. Kid the Rebbe. Like Rebbe that explains the smichas of parashas in the Torah. The Tanya Rebbe Yomer Laman is parashas Nazir parashas Saita. Why did it say in the Torah the parasha of Nazir in Exodus Saita? That anybody that sees, come to tell you that anybody that sees a Saita when she's at her kukula, when she's at her destruction, when she's embarrassing herself and coming to the drink, the me'amarim. So Yazer Atzmei Min HaYayin, he should separate himself from wine, because the Yayin brings a Dekalas Roish, and is goyim this that she should become a Saita and do things that causes her to become a Saita. In fact, tomorrow it was the listening Saita of a Hadalas and Nazir, then it should first have Masechta Saita, because that's the order. I would like to say there are parashas. So the Gemara after the Gemara, I need Tana Ksubis, because Rebbe learned Ksubis. And it says in Parak HaMadir, which discusses Nadarim, so therefore it said afterwards Parak Nadarim, Masech Nadarim. And once it said Nadarim, I ain't turn Nadarim, so it said afterward Masech Nazir, the Damim Nadarim, which is similar to Nadarim, because Naziris comes like a day in Neder, it actually has a din Neder. The Gatani Saita, and then afterwards it says Saita K'de Rebbe. Like Rebbe said, the Smichas Parashas, that they have a Shaychas one another. So Zok the Gemara, the Mishnah said, Hamekane le'ishtoi. If someone warns his wife, and the Mishnah didn't say Rebbe Loza Omer Mekane. So from the extra lashon is mashma that Dafka b'di'eved, if he's Mekane's wife, in. But lechatchila it's mashma he shouldn't be Mekane. Zok the Gemara, it comes out Kasavar Tana and Donau. Tana Mishnah holds that Asr Mekana it's Asr to be Mekana, for a person to Mekana his wife, because it brings Lidei Eva. He's going to be fighting with his wife then, and it's going her to Bezayin if she's actually miyach with somebody and he makes her drink the Me'amarim, even if she's not Mazana. So that's Gemara's D. I mean, it says Hamekana, if he actually did it, if it happened, B'di'evet, he was Mekana, but L'chatchila he should not do it. Amar Shmuel Yitzchak, you have a pasach Rish Lakish, the Saita, when Rish Lakish started darshan the parasha of Saita, so he said, Amar Hach, he said like this, Adam Isha Elefi Ma'isa, that Hashem only peers up a person, his wife, Mishamayim, only Lefi Ma'isa, so a tzaddik gets a tznuah, and the Rasha gets a prutza shenem. How do you know? It says that the Hilim Kufchaf Hey Pasuk Gimel Ki lo yanuach shevet haresha al ger al tzadikim. In other words, that Hashem, when I'm misdavig a shulton Rasha in the chiluk of a tzaddik. Amar Rav Chana, Amar Rav Yochanan, Rav Chana, Amar Rav Yochanan says the kashim L'zavga and Kriyas Yamsuf, and it's hard for Hashem to mizavig zivugim lefi ma'aseh ha'adam like Kriyas Yamsuf. Like Kriyas Yamsuf. Shenamar, how do you know? Because it says the Hillam Parak Samches Pasuk Zayin Elikim Moshe Yichinim Baisam Moitzi Asirim B'Chasharas. Meaning to say that Ish v'Isha, they are Yechidim, each one in the house of their fathers, and Hashem is miyashim them and sits them together and makes a house out of both of them. So too, Hashem took out the Yidden that were tied up in Mitzrayim in a Chodesh, in Chodesh Nisan, which is, it's not a very hot sun and it's not very cold. So the comparison to to Ish v'Isha to Yitzis Mitzrayim. So we see that the pasuk at Tehillim is comparing them, that they're both equal to Hashem. So in Mele you see that it's Kasher Kriyas Yamsuf. Because the first part of the pasuk is talking about Hashem making zivugim, like Kimosh Michin and Baisa, creating a bias. And the second part of the pasuk is talking about Moitzi Asim Merkasharis, that's talking about Yitzis Mitzrayim. So that's where you see that they are similar. Zok Gemara, Ini. Is the taka true that Hashem is mezavig with people if they're ma'asim? Amar Rabbi Yehuda Marav says Abaram Yom Kodim Tziras Avlad 40 days before the Yitzira of Vlad Baskal comes out by Meres Bas Pliny LePliny that the daughter of this and this person should marry this person who bias Pliny LePliny, and this bias of Pliny should be to this person. Sada Pliny should go to Pliny. So kumtois that the zivig is nikva already 40 days before Yitziras Avlad. So how do you say it's kashal azagva? It's pashto, it happens automatically already 40 days before Yitziras Avlad. Her pasha says kasha. So tomorrow like kasha, it's not shver. At this that you see that Rav says Abarim Yom Kodim Yitziras Avlad, that's bezivig rishon, that which is nikbal according to the mazel, and not according to the person's ma'asav. This is what Rish Lakish says as mezavig lafi ma'asav. That's bezivig sheni, and that zivig is kasher kriyas yamsuf because it's not really his bazugoi that's muchen to him. It's really that's really lafi ma'asav. So that one, the second zivig sheni is kriyas yamsuf. Zakti Gemara vayter Belezer says in the Mishnah mekanim al pishnayim. And he's mashkal piyei echad. However, the ashkaz is enough al piyei echad. The Yeshua says that he's also mashkal pishnayim. So Gemara is medayik ad kan lepligi ela bikini. We did not learn from the machlekes that you need to have two eidim only by kini and by stira according to Yeshua al betuma legabe eidas that she was mezana is mashma that even eid echad is believed, that everybody agrees that to say that she was actually mezana, even eid echad is enough. So Dr. Gemara, that's when you have the machlekes, that's when you shmuz in the Mishnah of Elazar Yeshua. However, the gabi if eid echad comes and says that we saw she was actually mezana, then everybody agrees she's asur l'boil and to her husband, and she goes out without a ksuba, she's possible from truma. Utna nami, we also learned in the Braysos Dr. Gemara this day in eid echad oimaniri siya should nitmeis. If eid echad says I saw that she was nitmeis with stira. With the stira, meaning the stira itself, the word tuedim on, let's say, according to Yeshua. But if the Eid says, I saw the etzamais nos, then he's believed the loyus hashoisa, and there's no din hash. She doesn't have to be mashki. Just believe the Eid Echad. So after tomorrow, midiraisa manol the mehema and Eid Echad. How do you know that midiraisa, according to the Torah, and Eid Echad believe the Gabi the Tama? After tomorrow, the Tanur Rabbanon, we learned in Raisa. From this side, it says on the pasuk when the parakeh pasuk only hinit ma the aid aim ba. There's no aid. So b'shnayim akasam medaber that there's no two aidim. That the pasuk saying there's no two aidim that saw that there was tama. Rather, there was just one aid. So the pasuk's telling you that this aid tag kadasar. So basically, the Gemara is being medayek from the fact that it says on the pasuk "V'hinit ma ve'edein ba." So Gemara is assuming that it says ve'edein ba is referring to two eidim. So Pshat is medayek from the pasuk that you don't have two eidim, but you have one eid, and that's why v'hinit ma. It's enough. So you see, it's enough for tama. It's enough to accuse him for tama. Maybe the pasuk saying that there wasn't even one aid, even maybe nobody saw it, and still v'hinei tamaz. Tamaloymar liyakom eid echad b'ish. Zok the Gemara, zok the Braysos, no, it can't be because it says in Dini Eid, this is Dvar and Parak Tes pasuk Tezvav liyakom eid echad b'ish. So explains the Gemara, if it would have said like Yakum Eid Be'ish in the pasuk, say any Yedeh Shu Eid Echad, then l'chara, wouldn't I know from that it's Eid Echad? Why does it have to say Yakum Eid Echad Be'ish? Let's say Yakum Eid Be'ish. So Matam Aleim Echad. Why does it say Echad? It's coming to teach you that Zeh Bona Av, it's coming to teach you that Kol Makom Shenemar Eid in the Torah, it means Shnayim. Achi Yifamcha Kosav Echad. Until the pasuk says specifically Echad, then it means two. The Amar Achmana, the pasuk says, "V'amiru parakei pasuk gimel ve'edein ba." So it's coming to tell you that Trei lespa. There's now two edim elachad. There's only one eid. V'hilin espasa, and you see that she's still tamei, she's b'chazaka, she's tamei, and she's nensa, and she's aser. So come tell you that you see from this that eid echad is nema to say that she's nitma. Reflecting Amara al taima. The reason why we know that Eid, when it says Eid in there, it means two, is only because the Chsev lo Yakum Eid Echa Be'ish, because it says in Dvar Paragit Tes Baruch Pasuk Tesvav lo Yakum Eid Echa Be'ish. Halav Hachu, without that pasuk, Havamina Eid the Soita Chadu. I would say this that it says Eid by Soita is maybe you're just referring to one Eid, and it's coming to tell you even if you don't have Eid Echad, she's still Tamei, she's Aser. So for Gemara, Afilu Chad Leka, if you don't even have, if that would be the case, and you wouldn't even have one Eid. So why is she aser? From Hilan Etfasa is mash on the pasuk. She's aser. What would be pshat? So Avada you would say, you would not say that Eid is echad and therefore lo yakum is extra. So the Gemara now is asking a kasha that l'chayra. So we said that you learn out from lo yakum Eid echad be'ish. That kol makom in the Torah where it says Eid, it means Shnayim. So Melo, you could darshan over here. At this that it says over here, Legabe Soita. This that it says Legabe Soita that the Eid in Ba V'hila in Spasa, and she's Aser. So Pshat is, it means that there's no two Eid, and that's where you learn it out from. You learn it out from the Pasuk Yakum Eid Echad Be'ish. So Frek the Gemara, so L'chayra, if you wouldn't have, let's say you wouldn't have this limit of a Yakum Eid Echa Be'ish, so what would you say? You say that Eid means one, not two. So, the Gemara, that, what is, so, it was like, well, how would you learn the pasuk that says by Soita, saying there's no Eidim at all, and what? Makam the pasuk saying it's Aser. How can you ask without any Eidim Mechlal? It doesn't make any sense. So it has to mean that there's no, that there's at least there's one Eid. Al Pi Svara. So what do you need at the pasuk Lo Yakum Eid Echa Be'ish? And for the Gemara, Itzrich, you have to have the pasuk of Lo Yakum to tell you that Eid is two. Why? Because without the Strasha Sokadai the Chamino, I might say that Eid, what this it says in the pasuk Eid, it means one. The Eid Dein Ba would be telling you that Eid Echad not Neman to Aser, only two. So you would say it. This says the Eid means one, but maybe I'll tell you that the pasuk's telling you that one Eid is not enough to Aser, rather you need to have two. The fact that you have an extra pasuk of Yakum Eid Echa Be'ish teaches you that the pasuk over here is saying that even without two Eidim, she becomes Aser. It's affecting Gemara. If the kavana of Eid, if the kavana would be that Eid Echad is not Neman, if you want to say that would be the pshat without the words of Yakum Eid Echa Be'ish teach you otherwise. Velamai, then what's the pasuk telling you? Ate ikatrei, that she's not aser, she's only aser until you have two edim. So lishte kramine, let the Torah not say anything. The asya davar mimamin, because you learn out the din, you need to have two edim with exer shava davar mimamin. And it says by a fs in the parasha, it says in the var parach of dal pasuk aleph kematza ba ervas davar, and by din mamis it says al b'shnei edim yakum davar. And from this limit you learn out I know Yadana that you need to have two edim by Soita. Midahava kol Eidish Torah. It has regular Eidish in the whole Torah. So Ibazoi, you don't need to have the words of Eidim but to teach me this. That you know from the regular din, Eidish in the Torah. So Al Karchach, the pasuk must be talking about that you don't have two Eidim, you only have one. And Ibazoi Lo Yakum Zmiyot is extra. We're back to the last kasha before. Zakti Gemara. That no, it's you need to have la yakum, because although davar tells you in Kol Torah you need to have two edim, but sokat chamino, I might think a soita shani, and I might think a soita is different, and you need to have a separate miyachos. Why? The reglayim davar, I might say it's a reglayim davar that she's mizana. It's a svara to say she's mizana. Why? Sheri kinala, because her husband already warned her from this person. So it seems like there's already something going on before. So it's kind of like a reglayim davar that it happened. Venistera, and then she was miyach with him. So therefore, it was a makom to say that l'sheiman ba eid echad. I might think that you should believe eid echad, that she was nitma. So ibazoi eidem ba is telling you that no, you do need to have two without the pasuk of layakum, and therefore you need to have layakum and achavish to tell you that aid means two, like we said before, and the pasuk saying you don't need to have two, rather one's enough. So the Gemara is saying that minasfara, I would think that it's taka enough with aid echad, and the pasuk ve'edim bo coming to tell you need to have two edim. So on that you need to have the pasuk of layakum to tell you that no, that aid means two, and the pasuk's telling you that you don't have to have two, it's enough for one. So for the Gemara, mimat amrit, and could you say that edim bo, the kavanah is that it's coming to tell you that aid echad is not ne'eman, and it's talking about only that there's one aid and she's mutter. It says that she was not nespasa, she wasn't grabbed. She just said she was nansa mechlal dasur. You see that she's asur, because if she was mutter malim, then why is pasuk saying what does make a difference if she was nansa or not nansa? So l'chayra you don't need layakum. Says Akli Gemara, no, you still need to have layakum. Why? Because that be'inei bo would be telling you that eid echad is not believed until you have two eidim. And even by two, betray nami hidalayin espasa, would be telling you that the only time she's aser is only if she's not nensa. So therefore, kamashal and yakum, that aid means two. So kumta is be'inei bo is talking about that you don't have two Eidim, only one, and the Eid Neman. Zakting Gemara weiter. B'shua says in the Mishnah, Mekanin lo al pishnayim, he does kina al pishnei Eidim, and he's mashka al pishnayim. And the argues are in Belezer on the guy with the Ashkal. Zakting Gemara, my time in B'shua, the whole, you need to have two Eidim for the kina and for the stira. Zakting Gemara, Amakra, the pasuk says, the Eid Eimbo, that you don't have two Eidim that choose nitma, rather you have one. So it's mashma that what? That only ba in the tuma ones believe, loy bikina, and not in the kina. It's also mashma ba ones believe, loy b'stira. It's mashma both. Rabbi Lezer says ba v'loy bikina. This thing you can die from the ba is only in the kina, but it doesn't dash from ba v'loy b'stira, tell you loy b'stira. So therefore, Rabbi Lezer argues and he holds that b'stira is enough for that echad. Fracting Gemara on Rabbi Lezer, ve'ema ba v'loy b'stira. Why did he say that ba might also b'stira? And you should not believe one by stira. So Gemara stira itka shatoma, because he holds stira is hokah shatoma the chesiv, because it says in where's the pasuk? Bamir Parakeh, it says Minister of Yisma that Eid Echad is nam stira just like a nam by Tama, and we don't dash in ba v'loy b'stira. Zok the Gemara. So we learn out just say Echad Nam Tuma, so Echad Nam Mysterious. That's Rabbi Lezer. So for Gemara, Kini Nam Eklish Tuma. So Kini Lachar is also an Eklish Tuma. So let Echad believe. The Chsiv Kini is to be Hina Tama. So it should be enough for one. Zok the Gemara, and for the Gemara, Hamid Rachmana Ba. Lamaisa, the Torah is a might Ba to tell you that Dafka by Tuma it's enough for one, but not by Kini. In fact, the Gemara, Marisa, Ra'isa, why are you saying to Imakesh, Stira to Tuma and not Kini? So the Gemara, Mistara, Stira, Adifa, it's Mistara that it's better to be Machmir by Stira, Shakain Sarta, because you're going to be answering Misafik on the Baal and the Boil, Ketuma, like a Vadai Tuma. So that's why it's more Mistara to be Machmir and to say that a Echad will not be enough. So because you're asking her on the Baal Masafek, because with you want to be Machmer, as if it was a Valley. So for the Gemara, Adarab, a Kinu Adav L'chor, it's better to be Machmer by Kinu, Shekin Iker Garama. Because a Kinu is the Iker thing that is Goyim. Because without a Kinu, the steer would never even take place. You have to first come onto the kina. He's like the Gemara, last steer kina me'ika. If you don't have steer, then the kina is worthless. It's nothing. Doesn't do anything. Masha'in kain. The Gemara, the steer is really that's really answering everything. So Mela, it's adif to machmer lagabe the steer and say that even echad could answer. In fact, the Gemara, if you love kine steer ma'ahani, without the kine, does the steer do anything? The chur doesn't answer. So why steer better than kine? So the Gemara, feel a hachik stern, but still, even so, steer is better to be machmer. Why? That's chalta the tumahi. Because a tuma is b'shas stira, and therefore it's b'stavra to makish stira to tuma. Because, and to say that also by stira, there should be that one age should be believed. Zakti Gemara, the Mishnah said that Rabbi Lezer holds you need to have two eidim for kini, and one is enough for stira. So the Gemara brings a Tana that's choylik on Shittas Rabbi Lezer in the Mishnah. Zakti Gemara, masnisn loike hay Tana. The Mishnah is not like this Tana that says the Tanya that says Rabbi Yosef Yehuda. The Tanya we learned in the Rabbi Yosef Yehuda Omer Mishum Lezer. Yosef Yehuda says in the name of Lezer, Amakane leishto mikan biyedechad. Something that's kin to his wife, kan biyedechad oyal biyatoi, or what he himself can do. Umashkalon you can mashkal the Meisota. Dafka al pi shnayim has to be two edim that they were steer. Heshivu Chachamim. So Chachamim answered the Rabbi Yosef Yehuda in the Davar Seifa. According to Rabbi Yosef Yehuda, there is no end to it. This is Dr. Gemara. My time of Yosef Yehuda. What is the reason Rabbi Yosef Yehuda said? What was the reason of Yosef Yehuda's shita? So the Gemara, Amakra, the pasuk says that the eid ein ba, that there's no two eidim that Jews netmon, rather it was one. So mashma that ba, that dafka by tuma eid echad believe and not by stira. So that's how Rabbi Yosef Yehuda knows that you need to have two eidim for the stira. So freaking more of an ema ba say also darshan from ba that eid echad neman and not bikini. Right, so this sheet of Rabbi Yosef Yehuda is really opposite of Rabbi Lezer in the Mishnah. Rabbi Lezer in the Mishnah said that for kini you need to have two eidim, for steer you need to have one. Rabbi Yosef Yehuda is saying that for kinu it's enough with one oyal piatzmai, and for steer you need to have two. Okay, so for the Gemara, the Ema Ba Levi, why is Darshan also that Ba is telling you that one's believed by kinu, like Rabbi Lezer in that part? This is Dr. Gemara, Kini itkish l'tama, Kini itkish l'tama, so Kini is ishta v'hina t'ma. So therefore, by Kinu, one's believed like Tama. So also by steer one should believe. Zok Gemara, Yosi holds hahu lekamashir stira. That hekesh coming to tell you what is a shear, the time that you need to have stira, which is kedei tuma huda. So it's coming to tell you need to have kedei tuma. Zok Gemara, the Brisa says, Heshiva Chacham Rabbi Yosef Yehuda. Chacham answered to Rabbi Yosef Yehuda, and they told him, Ein ladavar soif. So Zok Gemara, what did the Chacham mean that they were tying to Rabbi Yosef Yehuda, Ein ladavar soif? Zok Gemara, the zimnin the loikani, because sometimes he does not warn his wife. Va'amar, and he says when he gets upset at her, Kanai, that I warned you from Pliny person not to talk to him without Adim. And then he'll bring Adim that she was Nistra and he'll ask her. So their taina is, so Chacham was tiny to Rabbi Yosef Yehuda. He's saying Kina is enough. So he was like, guy will get upset at his wife. I'll just tell her why she's upset, because he's upset at her that I warned you, and then he'll bring in Nister, and then he'll make his wife Aser. So Ein Ladavar Soif, that was his taina. So the Gemara, Halam is just saying it was mashma that it's the fact that Chacham only were Meshiv on Rabbi Yosef Yehuda is mashma that their whole time was on Rabbi Yosef Yehuda, but in Shittas Rebbe Lezer in the Mishnah is Mashma Yeshel Davar Say. Reflecting tomorrow why L'Chayra Zimnin Deloy Sata. Maybe sometimes Lezer says in the Mishnah the opposite. He says that steer is enough way to Echad. Maybe sometimes the taka was no stira. Va'amar Stazer, and he's only saying that he saw his wife doing steer because he's upset at her, and because a Baal could easily be Meshaker and say that his wife was a Miyacha with somebody if he gets her upset, because he could just do it al pi edach al pi atzmai. So Gemara, Rabbi Yitzchak said that also taka the Mishnah Shver, and Kavanas Chacham to say that the Ramesha on Rabbi Yosef Yehuda was saying after Rabbi Yosef Yehuda il davar soif, but the taka had the same kasha and a chanami on the steer of Elazar in the Mishnah. So reflecting Gemara after Rabbi Yosef Yehuda l'chayra, is it also shver according to Rabbi Yosef Yehuda? L'chayra v'loy mebaya, it's pashat that it's shver in our Mishnah. Adarabim saying ikar. L'chayra in the Mishnah there's an ikar siba ta'asa her. Why? Because he started the kina ve'edim shaloy dekas. However, there in Shittas Rebbe Yehuda leka ikar, there's no haschala be'edim. The whole thing never started with edim. So the Chor is more of a reason Zok the Gemara to say there's a shash meshaker in Shittas Rebbe Yehuda, because when his wife gets him upset, it's much easier for him to say that he was Mekana and to find Mekana's wife and to find a minister. So the Chor should taka be up as far much more of a problem on Rabbi Yosef Yehuda. So the Gemara itmar hachitmar. If you want to learn this, they have to learn. Amar Yitzchak Yosef, Amar Rabbi Yechon, on the Rabbi Yosef Yehuda, according to Shittas Rebbe Yehuda, is ein l'davar soif, like we explained. Va'aflan is shvasena ein l'davar soif. And the Gemara is agav saying also in the Mishnah you could have a tiny Rebbe Lezer ein l'davar soif, but not that like the Ikar Kashas on the Mishnah, and it's also shver from Yosef Yehuda. Okay. Zok the Gemara. Amar Reb Chanina Mesur. Reb Chanina from Suri said, a person should not tell his wife in these days, like the Tasi Bahad Pliny, don't be miyach with Pliny, because Dilma Kaimalon, because maybe we hold the halacha is Rabbi Yosef Yehuda, the Amar Kina Piatzma Yimstatra, that he could makana his wife al Piatza Yimstatra. And we have to be chosh that maybe she was miyachid v'leko in the meisayt al and now we don't have meisayt to be poidik because aser la'ilave isur delayim. Kumtais is asking his wife isailam. Zok the Gemara b'ayta Amar Shlakish said, Ma Lashon Kinui, what is the Lashon of Kinui in the Torah? So the Lashon of Davar HaMato Kina. Something that's Mato Kina, which is Kas, Binola Ben Acherim, between her and somebody else. So the Gemara, Alma Kasav, we see that Rish Lakish holds like Rabbi Yossi. Why? Because he says that Kina Oisal Piatzmai. You see the Kina Asal Piatzmai was like Shitz Rabbi's view, not like a Belezer. The Kuli Alma La Yodi the Kanala. And if you can Mekana without Adam, then Kuli Alma Lo Yodi the Kanala. And nobody knows that he was Mekana's wife. But Armin will say, Mai de Kama de Kabadla. What's this thing in front of us? That so that's Rish Lakish's pshat. That people will notice that a husband is Mekana, and they'll say, Mai de Kama de Kabadla, why she's separating from this person, Aslam with Kinabada, and he will come to be Matal Kina, which is Lashon Kas, with his wife, because of that. And the Shari Saita says that since she's only separating from this person because her husband warned her, so it's Nicker, it's not because it's Nias, and Mila, that's why it's Garim Eva. Rav Yemir Bar Shlem Shmid Abai, Rav Yemir Bar Rebbe Shlem Yom Shmid Abai says, as Davar Hamatal Kina Beinoi Libeina. So it's between him and his wife. So the Gemara Alma Ksavar, we see Abaya holds like our Mishnah that Kina al Pishnayim Edim. Kina is dafka by 2 Edim. Kulam Yodi the Kanila, and everybody knows that he was Mekana's wife, and they don't hate each other. We would also have Kinabada. So that's going to be everybody. Everybody knows Mekana. However, Beinah Beinah is going to be Kinabada. Why? Because she cheppes her husband because of the fact that he was Chayisha, she was being Mizana. So the Gemara is Medayik Alma Kasavri the Asal Akani. You see the Zamaram hold us now in Mekana. Why? Because you see Kini is Kas. You're not allowed to do it. So the Gemara Almanda Amar Motul Akana is Manda Amar. It says it's Motul Mekana Mahu Lashon Kini. What is Lashon Kini? Nachman Yitzchak Ein Kini Lashon Asra. Just means the Lashon Asra that is warning his wife that she should not be Miyachid V'Chinu Oimer Yol Perak Beis Pasuk Yitches Ve'Kane Hashem La'artzoi. Hashem warned them with the armor that it's not going to destroy his land. See, it's the Lashon Kini is a Lashon warning.